So, having been to many doctors recently, I have come to one conclusion. There is one universal truth, well, two universal truths that all doctors, now I put truths in quotations, that all doctors agree with. Number one, every other doctor is always correct, regardless of whether or not the doctor you're seeing agrees or disagrees with them. Number two, don't look anything up on the internet. Now I'm going to go over number two. Why don't doctors want you to look up anything on the internet? Well, I'm going to go over, it's actually my ex-girlfriend, but I call her my close personal friend that had an embolism, pulmonary embolism. Her doctor called the wrong shots. He called the wrong type of chest scan. It was a chest scan without contrast, which did not rule out a blood clot, but which he magically used to rule out a clot, okay? The other thing is this, okay, risk factors, okay, 3 months of bed rest, okay? 3 months of bed rest is a risk factor for a blood clot, okay, and many other things, but definitely for a blood clot. The other factor was her surgeon that she went to for, to consult about a back surgery without ever looking into any other options, because why ever question a doctor that profits directly from a surgery, okay, failed to mention physical therapy, failed to mention blood thinners, failed to mention anything. But let's get back to the doctor, who was really a physician's assistant, he only calls himself a doctor, that misdiagnosed her with pneumonia and prescribed antibiotics twice, which did not clear up the blood that she was coughing up. This shows the arrogance of doctors. Now, she did state that she was very concerned about the coughing up of blood and offered to show him the blood that she had in a tissue, to which he said, I don't need to see that. I'm just going to assume that there's blood there. I know there's blood there. Here's a prescription for antibiotics. Okay. Now, the reason that this is funny is doing a simple internet search can show you what the risk factors are, and it doesn't, I'm not using PubMed or anything like that, although you should use PubMed and other things, but you can easily and quickly find that these are all risk factors for a blood clot. Okay, that combined with the pain and cramping in her calves, which she's had, that's also a sign of a blood clot. But the doctors ruled this out. The doctors approved her for surgery without taking any of this into consideration, operated on her, and even increased her risk for a clot more. Now, what's interesting is this same office, now not the same so-called doctor, this is actually a real doctor, basically confirmed with me, don't look things up on the internet and don't test your blood pressure at home, because apparently my blood pressures, which fluctuate between 117/70 and 170 to 180 to even 200 over 110 or higher, that's a stress thing. I'm causing that by checking my blood pressure. And I shouldn't look things up on the internet because that's agitating me, okay? Now, this is the thing. If doctors actually knew what they were doing, people wouldn't need to look things up on the internet. Unfortunately, doctors clearly do not know what they're doing or do not care to work hard enough. Now, what was interesting is I actually told the doctor, it's, being that the best you can do is keep me on the medication they gave me in the hospital that dropped my blood pressure to 53/32, and hope I don't die. That's the best that can be done, okay? This is, why the hell does anybody get treatment? Because clearly there's nothing that can be done. And it is all a money thing. I have to wear a monitor for a month to make sure it's not this or that. Meanwhile, the treatment, I'm on a treatment to stop the symptoms. So the monitor is going to obviously be less likely to pick up the symptoms. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I'm going to leave a lot of links to the signs of a blood clot. Unfortunately, that person, my ex-girlfriend, is not a litigious person. Otherwise, she'd have quite a lot of money, but Unfortunately, she's not very litigious.